How's everybody doing? Obviously, hats off to UAB, championship level football team right there. Really good. They fought, battled, made some big plays and some big moments. I thought our guys fought hard. I thought we played tough all the way through. We just didn't execute consistently enough to beat a championship team. We'll learn from it. We got to be a much better offensively on third down. I think we were 1 for 12. It's going to be hard to win football games when you can't convert third downs on offense. Didn't think we ran the ball as consistently as we needed to. We knew it was going to be tough. We knew we had to be patient, but we should be a little bit better there. We got to continue to work. Thought defense fought. A couple big plays there is what we talked about. We've been giving up the big plays and kind of put us in a tight spot. I thought we did a really good job of tackling the football in the run game. You know, we knew they had a good back. I don't know what he ended up with, but we knew we were going to have to tackle the football. Thought we did that. A couple of big plays probably ended up putting us in a tough situation, and then they were able to convert some crucial third downs in that last 4-minute drive they had. So hats off to them. Proud of the way the guys fought. We got to be better all the way across the board. Coaches, players, offense, defense, special teams. We got to execute a lot more consistently in order to beat a football team of that caliber. So with that, I open it up.
Let's talk about the momentum swing if you don't care. I think you all were driving a third and four pass that Grant had. It looked like it was within Willie's grasp. Falls incomplete, you have to punt it over, then you don't see the football there for another 10 minutes. How difficult are those moments for guys that are chomping to get back on the field?
Yeah, I mean that is exactly what we're talking about, you know. And I love Willie, and he made some big plays tonight. But that's kind of what our team was tonight. We just didn't execute consistently enough. And those plays, and we could put out 10 more plays, you know, throughout the game that we just didn't execute. And then defensively, we did a really good job of getting them to third down. We just weren't able to get off the field. But that's what happens in championship type football games, man. You got to be able to execute consistently. You don't have to play perfect, but you got to be able to consistently execute, whether that's first down, whether that's making a big catch, whether that's stopping on third down, whether that's converting a third down, whether that's flipping the field on special teams, whatever it is, we just got to be better. We learned from the 3 that we lost earlier in the year about the details and the discipline, and we got to learn from this one about the consistency in our execution.
Obviously, it's an emotional weekend. The 7-5 weekend is very big here in Huntington. You all still have championship goals in mind. How do you keep this weekend's loss and the emotion that goes with it from hindering you moving forward?
Well, I talked to the guys. I mean, I understand fully how much this weekend means to a lot of people, myself included. And I told them to honor them with their performance. And I thought, you know, we fought hard, and that's what Marshall is about. That's what we'll always be about. In order to win these type of games, we got to be able to execute a little more consistently. I told them in the locker room, the course has changed, but the goal has not. So it's just a little bit different path. You know, if we were able to write the story, it would be totally different, but it's not that way. So we got to be able to go back to work, learn from this one, and perform in the new course or the new road that we're on. But we're still on the road, you know, so we got to be able to make sure that we learn from this. I fully get it, man. I told them in the locker room I'd cut my right finger off if we could win the game. But I thought their performance I thought their performance and their effort and their fight, and they're on the sideline. The guys were all locked in. The guys were giving everything they had. We just got to execute. That's what it comes down to. We got to be able to do.
Coach, what message do you give to Grant, you know, after the performance tonight with that late pickup? What message do you give to him as you guys are ready to finish out the season?
Same thing. You know, the course has changed. The goal has not. And what it takes to reach the goal has not changed. We got to be able to be disciplined. We got to be able to play with energy and effort. And we got to be able to execute. And those are the things that we constantly talk about. You know, the turnover, it seemed in a crucial moment, but if we'd have called the ball or ran the ball better blocking in the first quarter, we were able to come up with a stop, and that one play doesn't appear as drastic. Would he love it back? Yeah. Would we love it back? Yeah. But we got to learn from it. We got to learn from it about consistently executing throughout the game, not just, okay, hey, this is the game's on the line, now we got to be able to execute. Throughout the game, we got to be able to do that. I mean, I'd love to have one of the 12 or other third downs that we didn't converted. We didn't. So we got to be able to do that. And that one play at the end doesn't make or break the game, because we can go back to the first quarter and there's 1,000 runs, there's 1,000 defensive stops that we didn't get. It's just consistency in our execution.
Coach, was that the most difficult game you played with a team this season?
I'd have to go back and look at the film, but on the field, it looked like we were battling. It didn't look like we were overmatched. It looked like two really good football teams. But I'd have to go back and look at the film to be completely honest, to be able to answer that one.
Early in the game, Coach, there was a 3rd and 12. UAB has a bad snap straight out of the gate. You all were in position to get off the field with a 3 and out and get the possession and be able to take it. When you give up a big play early in a game like that, do you feel like those set the tone and sort of creep into the mind of players moving forward?
No, I think you got to be able to play the next play, whether you go out there and get a kickoff return to the house to open the game, or you give up a big 3rd down in the beginning of the game. I think you got to be able to play the next play, one play at a time. I would say that we were able to rally, put our foot in the ground, and come up with a stop. But I don't think so. I think if we keep our focus on one play at a time, I think those plays, we got to learn from, move on. But that goes back to, like you're saying right there, we got to execute consistently. We got to get them on the ground.
Coach, some of the things you were talking about trying to correct, do you feel that a lot of these things are pretty tangible things you can maybe correct in a week, film study, or anything that maybe bothered you most looking at tonight's game?
Well, nothing. I mean, obviously the loss bothers me, but our effort was good. That's what I want to make sure. When you're playing with effort, we'll go back and look at the film, and there's probably some plays on defense where if a guy is in the right gap or a step closer, it doesn't happen. There's plays on offense if we do a better job of blocking or running or catching, that it doesn't happen. Special teams, the same thing. But I think just like any other week, the weeks we had, big victories, we went back, we looked at the things we could correct. Tomorrow we'll do the same thing. We'll go back, look at the things we can correct, and constantly keep working towards the goal.
Coach, one of the few things, or one of the common themes of the losses this year has been just the ground game for the opposing team. What kind of initial thoughts, obviously you have to go back and look at the film to see what went wrong, but what are your initial thoughts on maybe what went wrong today as far as stopping the run?
Yeah, well, one, they're a good football team with a good offensive line and a good running back, so they're going to make some plays. Two, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning. You got to have gap control and you got to tackle. It's easier to do when you're better players than the other team. But when you play a championship level team, they're going to have some success. What we got to be able to do is consistently play the right gaps, tackle when we get an opportunity. So when we go back and look at it, we're going to look at, okay, hey, how many times were we out of our gap? How many times did we miss tackles? And then that's when we'll say, hey, this is where we could have been better. Did we think we were going to come out here today and they were going to get 0 yards rushing? Absolutely not. But did we have a plan to be able to play gap control, to be able to tackle? Yes, but they also have scholarships over there too, so they're going to be able to block. They're going to be able to put themselves in some good positions with run angles and different runs. And we got to continue to learn from it. Hey, where could we have been better with our call as a coach? Where could we have been better with our alignment as a player? Where could we have been better with our execution of getting off the blocks and getting to the ball? Everybody's got a part. We all, myself included, we all got to continue to look at where can we be better. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to consistency in our execution. I bet we're going to look and we're going to see a handful of plays on both sides of the ball that if we just make that play, it changes an entire drive or series or whatever it may be.
Coach, UAB's quarterback started off hot tonight, down the stretch, made the plays when they needed him. Just what did you see out of him tonight?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of letting him manage the game. He made some big throws when he needed to off the play action, which when you run the ball well, you're going to have, the play action is going to work. I thought he made some really good throws after being hit and put some pressure on. Tough kid, knew that coming in. Championship level team, and that's what you get. The players, the quarterback. I thought he did a really good job of kind of going on to the next play. We got to him a lot tonight, made him move off his spot, which is what we wanted to do. Got him on the ground a couple times. He made some runs towards the second half there to kind of keep him in it. Good player.
Anything else?
Again, thank you guys for covering us. Really got to continue to get better. Proud of the guys' effort. Proud of the way they fought. Just got to be better in our consistency and our execution. So thanks, guys. Go Herd.